Good morning, dear students. Today, we are here to know about the marketing environment. As you learn what is marketing, what are all the scope of marketing, and how it will be implemented in the market, the strategies, everything you have learned in the previous class. So today we are here to know elaborately about marketing environment. As you know, environment is the surroundings, yes, around us. That is the business environment that surrounds us. That not only the affect the environment but also impact on the organizational's operations. Okay, so there are that successful companies, they take an outside inside view of their business. They recognize that the marketing environment is constantly presenting new opportunities and threats, and they understand the importance continuously monitoring and adapting to that of environment. Many companies, they fail to see change as opportunity. They ignore or resist changes until it is too late. Their strategies, structures, systems, and organizational culture grow increasingly absolute and disinfectional. Corporations, as mighty as General Motors, IBM, Sears, they have passed through difficult times because they ignored macro environmental changes. One critic of Sears recently said, Sears is slowly sinking in irrelevance. Older corporations need to find a way to die gracefully. The major responsibility for identifying significant marketplace that changes falls to the company's marketers. More than any group in the company, they must be the trend trackers and opportunity seekers. Although every manager in an organization, they needs to observe the outside environment, marketers, they have check out the advantages. Okay, there may be two. They have disciplined method, that is marketing intelligence and marketing research, for collecting information about the marketing environment. They also spend more time with customers and more time watching competitors. Okay, so here we can go for the what is marketing environment. So as I said earlier, it is a situation or the atmosphere within which a business enterprise has to operate. So a business operations is happening throughout within number of sources, resources, and the atmosphere. So here, according to Philip Kotler, what is marketing environment is the companies, it is made up of sectors and forces that outside the firms that the marketing functions infringe with these practices and procedures of the marketers and to maintain a successful relation with the firm's target audience. And also it's a sum total of all the factors, that is political, economical, social, technological, and other forces which move around the business enterprise. So in simple way, the Philip Kotler has explained this marketing environment, but in broader manner, marketing environment, there are three key perspectives on the environment, namely the macro environment, the micro environment, and the internal environment. Here comes the microenvironment that influence this organization directly. It includes suppliers that deal directly or indirectly, consumers and customers, and even other local stakeholders. But micro tend to suggest small, but this is often misleading. So micro describes the relationship between the firms and the driving forces that control this relationship. It is more of a local relationship and the firm could exercise a degree of influence. So this is about the micro environment, so in a small level. Macro means that includes all factors that could influence an organization but are out of their direct control. Okay, so a company does not generally influence any laws or be a part of a trade. So it is continuously changing and the company needs to be flexible to adapt. So what this comes under internal marketing environment means they have closely work along with the stakeholders and they in run turn provide the needed impetus for the organized marketing. Thus, these stakeholders constitute the internal environment And it is up to the organization to ensure that the marketing activities are undertaken keeping in mind their interest also. And this internal environment may have constitute of the stakeholders like shareholders, employees, suppliers, financial intermediaries, and top management. As you know, stakeholders, shareholders constitute the major part of the stakeholders. They are the one who makes the product explicit in the market. This is true with respect to white goods or consumer durables. So employees are the one who are look upon the customers as, and when opportunity arises with respect to the usage of brand. And you know, satisfying consumers leads to demand on the company, which results in employment opportunity. So employees are an internal customer too. So we have to focus on them, their taste, their preference. That reflects the external employees to external customers. Am I right? Okay. So when go for suppliers, most of the companies there will be a multiple suppliers. So suppliers, they are who are already a part of the system for a number of years. They are waiting for an opportunity to get into the system. Okay. So the quality of the product supplied by an organization that will make this that make the supplier that involved in the company. So they are the actually they are the supply chain doing the supply chain management, and they would have to provide the quality and be a part of the total quality management effort undertaken by the organization. So here are some stringent quality norms a supplier has to follow. The thing is, first one, compliance with laws. Okay, they have designed what are the things they are manufacturing that should completely fall on the rules and regulation that was described by the parent organization. Second one, voluntary labor. So labor suppliers shall not engage in or support traffic in human beings. You know, we have heard about that unfair trade practices. We have heard about that child labor that will not be practiced here. So workers must be allowed to maintain control over their identity documents. Third one, labor hours. So they must provide workers with rest day, and they must ensure that the working hours are consistent with the law and not excessive. And the fourth point comes here is the hiring and employment practices. Suppliers must implement hiring practices that actually accurately verify workers' age and legal rights to work in the country that prior to the employment. All terms and conditions of employment, including but not limited to hiring, pay, training, promotion, termination, and retirement, that must be based on the individual's ability and the willingness to do job. Then compensation, so like wages, overtime premiums, and benefits that meet or exceed legal standards or collective agreement, whichever is higher. So they have to, the suppliers are encouraged to provide wages that meet local industry standards and that are sufficient to meet the workers' basic needs and provide some discretionary income for workers and their family. And the sixth point comes under this regulation, stringent quality norms, is freedom of association and collective bargaining. They have to respect the rights of workers. And next is health and safety. They provide workers with a safe and healthy work environment. They have to take proactive measures to prevent workplace hazards. Dormitories and canteen. Suppliers who provide residential and dining facilities for their workers must provide safe, healthy, and sanitary facilities. Then the environment. They should ensure every manufacturing facility complies with environmental laws, including all laws related to waste disposal, air emissions, discharges, toxic substance, and hazardous waste disposal. Then here comes the gift and entertainment. Suppliers must not offer gift or entertainment to associates or those working on behalf of that particular organization. Then conflict of interest. Suppliers must not enter into transactions with the parent organization that create a conflict of interest. Anti-corruption. Suppliers must not tolerate, permit, or engage in bribery, corruption, or unethical practices, whether in dealing with public officials or individuals in the private sector. And financial integrity. They keep accurate records of all matters related to their business with the parent organization with accord with the standard accounting practices such as generally accepted accounting principle, that is GAAP, or international financial reporting standard, that is IFRS. And finally, reporting violation. So any violations beyond the standards of the parent company, that should be reported. And on the standard for suppliers, they to display there is a local toll-free telephone number, email address, and website that workers can use to anonymously report violation other concern. Okay, then here comes the fourth point under this internal environment, financial intermediaries. Financial intermediaries, that includes the bank, the financial institutions, insurance companies who are associated with the organization. And it is found that higher the association, the financial intermediaries have with the organization, higher is their productivity and results. So when we have more connections with the financial institutions, the production, then the resources, the capital resources will be the we can plan for plenty. And then top management, final. So the CEO can take the lead in strengthening the marketing performance of their companies in 4 key areas. That is, making the company truly market focused and customer centered, strengthening the marketing planning process and the effectiveness of resulting plans, revamping the marketing budget process, developing the company's marketing and sales personnel. So the top management, as we said earlier, who are all the people responsible directly are board of directors, shareholders, customers, and employees. They in turn are involved in what they are, it means the activities. First, they ensure the quality products that are given to the customers, recruit and maintain a set of dedicated employees, allocate resources for the needing departments, raise money from sources, exhibit leadership skills, problem solving skills, and have thorough knowledge of the economy and the organization. And finally, whenever opportunity arises, they should be the person during crisis and also the face the company among the public. Okay, so let me move to the scanning of this, and we have look of all these importance of environment analysis. In a sum up, they increase general awareness of environmental changes and they guide the company in a that lead to the government norms and policies. It helps in market analysis, and it also the analysis support or helps to improve in diversification and resource allocation. If a company want to move to another business, this analysis, this environmental scanning will help them to move to the next business. And it also helps to identify and capitalize major opportunity rather than losing out of competitors. And it also a base for the quality of information about the business environment that can subsequently be a value in designing the strategies. Also, finally, provide a continuing broad-based education for executives in general and the strategies in particular. So these things we have discussed earlier, that is, it may be differ. So one-to-one intermediary is there, relationship is there. So suppliers to middlemen, that's marketing mix offered by the marketing organization to the market. As we know, the 4 P's of marketing, right? So product based means it comes under 4 P's. Not only the product price, place and promotion, also the packaging is an essential element, and that contributes the 5th P of this marketing. So there may be an interlink between these to have a smooth functioning of the marketing program. Okay. So here comes the macro environment. As I said, there are 3: micro, macro, and internal environment. So macro here is analyzing the needs and trends of macro means how to identify and respond to this macro environment is. These, that is the companies and the suppliers, marketing intermediaries, customers, competitors, and publics all operates in the macro environment. And these forces, they represent as non-controllable to which the company must monitor and respond. So in this economic arena, companies and consumer are increasingly affected by the global forces. They are First one, the substantial speed up of international transportation, communication, and the financial transaction that leading to the rapid growth of world trade and investment, especially tripolar trade like North America, Western Europe, and Far East nations. Second thing, the movement of manufacturing capacity and the skills to lower cost countries. Third, the rising economic power of several Asian countries in world markets, the rise of trade blocs such as the European Union and the NAFTA signatories, the severe debt problem of a number of countries, along with the increasing fragility of the international financial system, and finally, the increasing use of barter and counter trade to support international transactions. So these are the responding major factors. So within this rapidly changing global picture, the firm must monitor six major forces. That is, here we have given like demographic, economic environment, natural, technological, political, legal, and social cultural. So we may explain these separately, but marketers must pay attention to their interactions because these will lead to new opportunities and threats. For example, explosive population growth. So that here comes demography. Demography indicates the population. Okay, population, their income, age, everything. So if there is an explosive population growth, that is demography, that leads to more resource depletion and pollution. So that is natural environment, which leads to consumers to call for more laws. So if there is more population, there should have more laws, that is political and legal, which stimulate new technological solutions and products. That is technology. We want to meet the demands of the explosive population, and which if they are affordable. So technology, maybe if there is more technology or technological advanced product, that should be afforded by the person. So economy, okay, and may actually change attitudes and behavior. So if there is an explosive population and you are trying to meet the demands of that explosive population by advanced technology, that should be afforded by the people. If so, their attitude and behavior may change normally, obviously. So that leads to social and cultural environment. The first macro environmental forces that marketers monitor is population, because because people make up markets. Marketers are keenly interested in the size and growth rate of population in cities, regions, and nations. Here, the demographic environment, the forces comes under like age, age distribution, ethnic mix, educational level, household pattern, and regional characteristics and movements. So the world population explosion has been a source of major concern for two reasons. The first is the fact that certain resources needed to support this much human life, like food, fuel, food, and minerals, are limited and may run out of some point. Okay, explosive population growth has major implications for business. A growing population does not mean growing markets unless these markets have sufficient purchasing power. Nonetheless, companies that carefully analyze their markets can find major opportunities. For example, to curb its skyrocketing population, you all aware the Chinese government has passed regulations that limiting families to one child. One consequence of this regulation means these children are spoiled and few and fuss over as never before. Known in China as little emperors, Chinese children are being showered with everything from candy to computers as a result of the six pocket syndrome. As many as six adult parents, grandparents, great grandparents, and aunts and uncles may be indulging the whims of each child. This trend has encouraged toy companies such as Japan's Bandai, that is famous for its Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, then Denmark's Legos Group, and Mattel to enter into the Chinese market. So one thing I can tell, this population age mix, national populations vary in their age mix. At one extreme is Mexico, a country with a very young population and rapid population growth. At the other extreme is Japan, a country with one of the world's oldest populations. Milk, diapers, school supplies, and toys would be important products in Mexico. Japan's population would consume many more adult products. And here comes ethnics and other markets. Countries also vary in ethnic and racial makeup. At one extreme is Japan, where almost everyone is Japanese. At other in the United States, where people coming from all nations. The United States were originally called a melting pot, but there are increasing signs that the melting didn't occur. Now people call the United States a salad bowl. So earlier it is melting pot, now it is salad bowl. Society with ethnic groups maintaining their ethnic difference, neighborhoods and culture. And as you know that what is going on in US, the Trump government, what are the measures they are taking beyond this people from different ethnic groups, nation, racials, then means continents. If they are beyond the conditions, what may be. So these are the things they are. And you can go for the geographic, even educational groups. The population in any society falls into 5 educational groups, right? We can divide them into like illiterates, high school dropouts, high school degree, college degree, professional degrees. So when we take an example of our country, so one extent there is 100% literacy level, and in one extent there is still people yet to get into education. So there may be a disparity in the having education, right? But the government taking much effort and initiative to make the church, make a child that they should have a school education, at least should have a school education up to their age of 14. So that is, I think it's working a good and getting literate, and we are dominating the world competition. Yes. Then comes to the household pattern, that is here come it is mentioned as the income and so on. So the traditional household consists of maybe three, maybe we know we India can be divided like nuclear family, joint family, and so on. So like that. But you when you go for developed nation, the scenario may be little bit of different, right? So they may have 8 household, and they may have single leave allowance, adult live together, one or both. Then these are all the emerging things they are coming. Then childless marriage couple, empty nesters. So more people are divorcing or separating. They may have choosing not to marry, marrying later, or marrying without the intention to have children. So each group have a distinctive set of needs and buying habits. So this also one of the impact in this macro environment as a demographic factor. Okay. Then here comes the economic environment. So marketers require purchasing power as well as people. The available purchasing power in an economy depends on current income, prices, savings, debt, and credit availability. So marketers must pay close attention to major trends in income and consumer spending patterns. So let me think about this income pattern. Okay, so income distribution. What we have 4 types of industrial structures like subsistence economics, few opportunity for marketers, then raw material exporting economics, then that is industrial economics, and they may go for some demand for growing middle class new type of goods. So these things we can divide, but marketers often distribute this country with 5 income distribution patterns, that is very low income, mostly low income, very low, very high income, low, medium, high income, and finally mostly medium income, right? And these marketers, they plan or they have designed their program to influence the such uh, distinctive group of economic factors such as interest rates, money supply, price level, consumer credit, and so higher interest rates that surely influence real estate market and market for consumer durables sold on installment basis. So it is not affordable, no. And when I go talk about the savings, debt, and credit availability. So consumers' expenditures are affected by savings, debt, and credit availability. And there is an advance as we talk about. So when you go for technology, there may be, but today financial institutions, financial services, they are making the procedures easy to get money for the well-being of the customers, like instant loan apps, and we all know the consequence of these loan apps, right? So dear students or youngsters, make aware of these things also when you before getting into the service of this financial institutions through this apps. Okay. Then social and cultural environment, third one under the macro environment. So social and culture. So I said that there may be a changing pattern in the attitude and behavior of people. When income rises, their buying pattern, that is the consumption pattern, then their lifestyle, the standard of living is coming different. Yes, they are upgrading themselves slow. So this social class is determined by their income, occupation, location of residence, then members of the family. So what we call this India is a middle class family. We are dividing into upper, middle, and lower, and that may have some subset: upper middle lower, and lower. Okay, so they may set their own standard with respect to their lifestyles, their attitude, and behavior. And here comes the culture. So that society shapes our beliefs, values, and norms based on this. People observe almost unconsciously a worldview that defines their relation to themselves, to others, to organization, and to society, to nature, and to the university. And here is an example given that's in our country, the younger generation is moving ahead with its time. But the traditional population is not comfortable with the westernization of our culture. So the usage of mobile phones, that leads to the shrinkage in a relationship. We are not sit together for an food, lunch, then we are not expressing we are not, there is not open sharing. So these things on the other side of the social and cultural norms. No. Then, yeah, one more thing. There are three aspects of social and cultural environment. As we discussed earlier, there is a changes in our lifestyle and social value, and a changing role of women. That's women are ready to work. They can a multi-personality. They can balance both the office and home. So they are emphasis on quality of good instead of quantity of goods. They are preferring for recreational activities, and they are demand for the instant food. Then they want to be make them in the presentable manner. So there is no way of hesitating or neglecting making them in a presentable manner. They can visit beauty parlor without any hesitance, these things. And major social problems. Example, concern for pollution of our environment, socially responsible marketing policies, and need for safety in occupations and products. These are all the other aspects, social and consumerism. So, as you know, earlier what the manufacturer has manufactured, that can be afforded or bought by the consumer. But today we are designing, so we are making the decision that these specifications, color, design, shape, ingredients. So we are making the decision as per that the marketers are. So they are responsible for emphasizing the social responsibility of business and customer oriented marketing approach. Here they are demanding not only consumer welfare but also citizen welfare. So to prevent the social environment, social cultural values in many countries. They are so marketers are asked to deliver not only higher material standard but also they assure you of quality of life. Then that will not harm the humane or the society, that altogether environmental free from pollution. And here comes the political and legal forces. So political and legal forces are gaining a considerable importance in marketing of activities and operations, as you know earlier. So marketing decisions are strongly affected by the developments in the political and legal environment. This environment is composed of what are these laws, government agencies, and pressure groups that influence and limit various organizations and individuals. And sometimes these government laws or regulations, they also create new opportunity for business. For example, the mandatory recycling laws have given the recycling industries a major boost and spurred the creation of dozens of new companies making new products from recycled material. And here comes some example like anti-pollution laws, also that influencing marketing plans and policies. So we have to control and regulate monopoly, then unfair trade practices. Um, the marketers are responsible to make aware what they are, and they have to make aware to the customers about their uh, products, its benefits, everything. So marketing management, they cannot ignore the legislation regulating competitions and protecting consumers. Also, adding to this, business legislation has three main processes, that is to protect companies from unfair competitions, to protect consumers from unfair business practices, and to protect the interests of society from unbridled business behavior. Okay, so yeah, they're not price discrimination. They are not allowed to go for price discrimination, false and misleading advertisement, exclusive distributionship and agreements, deceptive sales promotion devices, division of markets, exclusion of new competition, and such other unfair trade practices. So anything they are doing that should abide, and if not, the society or the community can take action on that. Okay, and for these things, I can tell some special interest groups are growing to overcome these things or to put an end for this unfair trade practices. Like the number and power of special interest groups have increased over the past 3 decades. Political action committees, PACs, they lobby government officials and pressure business executives to pay more attention to consumers' rights, women's rights, senior citizen rights, minority rights, and gay rights. Many companies have established public affairs departments to deal with these groups and issues. Here comes the technological environment. So it's a major factor that affects the business operations, right? So it changes the strategies of businesses in their respective fields. And as you know, technology, one of the most dramatic forces shaping people's lives, is technology. Technology has released such wonders as penicillin, open heart surgery, birth control pills. It has released such horrors as the hydrogen bomb, nerve gas, and the submachine gun. It has also released such mixed blessings as the automobile and video games. Every new technology is a force for creative destruction. Transistors hurt the vacuum tube industry. Xerography hurt the carbon paper business. Autos hurt the railroads. And the television hurt the newspaper. Instead of moving into new technologies, many old industries they fought or ignored them and their business declined. Yet, it is the essence of market capitalism to be dynamic and tolerate the creative destructiveness of technology as the price of progress. Um, Accelerating pace of change, right? And you all aware, my dear students, After COVID, we all realized uh, or yeah, the impact of or the usage or the importance of technology, and now it couldn't be replaced, right? So technological environment means, as I said here, it's a field of technology that which affect business by new inventions. Okay, in what aspects? In production procedures, other improvements, then parts and so on. And here comes the types of technology. It can be classified into several ways. For example, blueprints, machinery, equipment, other capital goods, or sometimes referred to hard technology, while soft technology includes management, how management will then finance, marketing, search engine optimizations, and administrative techniques. These are all the components of technological environments. First comes level of technology, labor-based technology and capital-based technology. That labor-based technology we can take it as or coined as human-based technology. So even though the advancement of technology is there, what you called as ChatGPT or um, n number of advancements, without man that way we can, but still human um, help is there, right? The pace of technology changes that influence in following ways. It can make existing industries obsolete. It can renovate or revitalize the existing industries into improvement. They can modify, they can alternate some process, progress, and so on, or they can go for some cost reduction, as we witness from fuel to electric vehicles. It can create entirely new industries. I am sure that we are witnessing, right? Past 20 years, 10 years, what we are and how we are and what are all the we are getting to the accessories we are using nowadays. It can increase government regulation. Yes, sure. Yes, if there is a new invent, there may be there is a mandatory or it is there's a pressure to the government to frame new policies or new rules and regulations for the usage of this particular technology. And you are aware that um, social medias that is using and yeah, usage pattern, then making reels and these things, YouTube videos. So the government have to make some, or they are in a position to make some rules and regulations about the content, about the photos or the images uploaded in these things, and they have restricted n number of apps that will not supports the humane society, or that may be one of the major tool that destroy the human emotions and values. So they have taken measures, they have get into and they have put an end to such apps. So technological transfer. Technological transfer implies that technology imported from technologically advanced foreign countries. There can be through globalization, yes, multinations, corporations, some kind of projects, that's turnkey project ready for immediate user operations. Then trade, that is sales of equipment by the manufacturer. Then training assistance, that's bilateral or multi-tenor donors provide technical assistance. Research and development. So technology that leads to research and development. If you want to upgrade the technology in any sense, you should have a homework. You should have to get into know about what is what. So research and development, the essence of innovation. So if a customer is expecting a superior quality product which should be safe, comfortable, and environment friendly means the marketers have get into research and development, and they have to come to a result that will results the request or the need of this customers. What is the relationship between business and technology? So technology is the backbone of any successful business in this modern society. So the kind of business setup we have today requires an entrepreneur to take note of ever-evolving technology and keep pace. Many businessmen would be sincerely surprised at the degree of impact modern technology can make in their business. So simplifying their business. Anyone can run their business. Then he can run their business on anywhere, and they may have customers from any look and corner of the world. Within a single click, within a single payment, click payment, they can do the transactions, they can do their business, they can receive their product in a safe, in a comfortable manner. And what is the impact of technology in business? As we said, both pros and cons and advantages and disadvantages. There are also positives and negatives effects. So positive effect is uh, here you can go for the new production, you can increase the productivity, you can give a number of in size, colors, in descriptions. And you can, if you are introducing a new technology or implementing technology, then you can be an beyond your competitor. You can be a you can rule the competitor, and there is a room for innovation, and that will create a profit for you, and that creates a customer value. And what may be the negative effect? So surely it's a capital burden, means you have to plan for your capital budget, the investment and how it will be. So may cause some huge investment. That may be one of a negative effect here they have mentioned. Then the threat of quick replacement. So we are running with some traditional methods. If the customers are expecting some other things, we want to get into some modern, they want to modernize, means we have to replace certain things. That may be one of the major threat, that we want to replace the old one and get into new. Then increase in cost, and then regular maintenance. If you want to go for a regular maintenance, surely it will, means if you want to gain more customers, we want to be your premise, your working area, your environment, your infrastructure, that should be in a presentable manner. So you have to maintain uh, uh, these things, so that incurs some cost. And whatever you are implementing or inputting technology for your new business, means new or skilled manpower is essential, so that it's not easily achieved. And the ecology, that is nature. So as we think about nature, that is the deterioration of the natural environment is a global concern. In many world cities, air and water pollution have reached dangerous level. There is a great concern about greenhouse gases in the atmosphere due to the burning of fossil fuels, about the depletion of ozone layer due to certain chemicals, and about growing shortage of water. New regulation hits certain industries very hard, like steel companies and public utilities have had to invest billions of dollars in pollution control equipments and more environmentally friendly fuels. And the automobile industry has had to introduce expensive emission controls in their cars, like um, yeah, emission cars that will not harm, the fuel comes out from the vehicle that will not harm the environment, and that manner there, that should be recycled within that. So that kind of certifications they have to maintain. The soap industry has had to increase its products biodegradability. No, you have learned about pH value, the chemical, the acid, the baseline, so that will not harm the skin of the customer, and so on. So marketers need to be aware of the threats and opportunity associated with four trends in the natural environment. That is the shortage of raw materials, especially water, then the increased cost of energy, increased pollution level, and the changing role of government, changing role of government. So government is insisting that the companies that get into SDG goals, like that is sustainable development goals. This the 13 goals have to, and the United Nations and the countries may have an association like BRIC. So these, they are insisting that every organization, every country, every citizen has to take measures, or they have to upgrade, or they have to support that SDG to control the pollution and prevent further self-destructive and ruthless exploitations of nature. Okay. So here comes the microenvironment. So microenvironment, these are the factors which are specific to the business concern, and so we all know the consumers are the major or the king of the business. Without consumer, there is nothing. So consumers, uh, Yeah, marketing intermediates who are all having the link with the company, link with the market. So they may consider as market intermediates, suppliers, and competitions. And as we have discussed earlier in the first slide itself, who are all the intermediaries, who are all the suppliers, and suppliers, what are all the quality norms they have to follow while they are acting as a supplier to a major organization. Okay, and competition, obviously, there is no and there is less number of monopolies, so competition is the major one. Okay, so as we said, this consumers, then marketing intermediaries, then suppliers, they are having their relationship with the company. So they are supplying, may call as a vendors or suppliers. Okay, then competition still they have no control over the competitors because we may not predict what the competitors, but we have to keep an eye on the competitors, what's their move and their pricing pattern, their marketing strategy. So that may some will help the business to run in a successful manner or compete the competitors. Okay, so internal environment, the people working inside the organization, and it is a controllable factor like a major department inside the organization, production, finance, HR, research and development, your environment, your image, then marketing mix components, what you are providing to the marketers. Okay. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a small glance on what is marketing environment, what are all the factors comes under this marketing environment. As a marketer or as an organization, what are all the things you have to concentrate to come up with your business. Thank you so much.